Okay, so its job is to create a new task, and you can also these three methods are I make it private. Yeah, you can see that this method is a private, this method is a private, this method is a private. Why I make this method is a private? Because it just this their scope is just into this class, means it's used in this class. Apart from that, it's not going to be used. That's why I make it private, and I can use directly this method whenever I need to use. I use it up here, and it's working fine. So in this way, the whole thing is working. Similarly, we can if we have some after trigger, means after update, we can do that after update, and make changes, means some other contact, or make changes in some other means make changes in some other object. Suppose I have a requirement that what kind of requirement. Mm, mm, yeah, we can say that on the task we can whenever anything not on the task, means on the contact. Suppose on the contact, when we creating a new contract, we are whenever any contract is created, task is created, that's okay. Yeah, and whenever the we can also just like we need to design a logic that whenever that this status is changed to started to something else, in progress, and in progress or something, and at the same moment we I want to notify all the is its contact, then what we need to do, that we need to write a trigger, and then we can also do that in a process builder, no issue, but we can write a trigger. Or for that, if we have to work with the trigger, suppose in some of the companies or some of the projects, I had seen that they want to manage everything by a trigger. They don't want to use the process builder, or they want to use the workflows, because on the trigger we can manage everything. Our means every DML, or every means whatever the operation that perform on the database, it's they want to keep that everything on a same place. So that's why they whatever be the requirement, they just want to design a trigger for that. Means only small requirement. Suppose I want to change the name, or on the field update I want to do something else. So whatever it means, that can be easily performed by a workflow or a process builder. They do not want to do that. They just want to write a trigger, write a code for that, so that there all the database operation will be at same place. Means there all the database operation will present on its handler. They do not have to just go some other place, means go to process builder, check the process builder what is doing, or of course they want everything should be present at the same place. So this type of client has also I had worked on, so they did not want to design any process builder or a workflow. So they and that in that requirement I found that said whenever the status of the task status got changed, we need to notify that this contact details, this contact owner, we need to notify that this contact. So for that we use the email template, and so we will discuss about that, how we can notify that user via email template. But I think you got a requirement, means you got a task or something else, that how to notify a user with an email. I think I had given you an assignment regarding to that, that whenever the to notify all the user in upcoming 7 days. Yeah, I think yeah, I think I let you to design some task.
Yes,
So
we have given
hmm,
assignment related.
so right now, since we know that how the trigger is working, so we can design a trigger on the task object. So whenever the status got changed to not started to start it, or in progress, Then we need to notify that user. So let's have a look. So these kind of job we can, because it will take some time to design that. Or let's start, might be I will find that thing in this Apex trigger. It will be task trigger. I need to write a trigger on task. So where is the task? PQRST submit. Now I can create a task, and it should be on since we have to send an email, means if we have to send a notification, it means that we have to send a notification when the task status changed to not started to start. Means when the task status changed to not started to in progress. So it means that we don't need to write a trigger on the insert. It means that whenever the status is changed, it means that whenever the record is updated. So we don't need to write a trigger, we need to write a trigger. And now since we are not making changes on the self record, so it does, so it means that we don't have to write a change, trigger on the before update. We need to write trigger on the after update. Okay, and let me copy the instances because it always be same. So I don't want to write again and again. Let's remove these things because these are related to contact. So it will, means it will run this one. And since we are writing a trigger, so let's put another class called task trigger handler, and we will write this one and put a method called public static void handler after update. Same thing as we have done here. We need to since we are working on the update, so we need the new task list and old task value, old task map. We need to do all those things, and then since we need to also compare that thing. So for that, let's do a loop. New task list. Okay, and then here I need to compare is equal to task.map.get. I will use the new ID to get the old record. Yeah. Now I need to compare that new task if new task dot status is not equal to old task status. We can do that something like that. If it's status, no, I need to check that it is started, means first is okay. It means that old task dot status is equal to not started and new task dot status is equal to in progress. Then we need to capture that who ID. So there will be a list of set list of list of ID called contact IDs. No. Oh, so new task dot. It will accept list of who ID to send the notification, and I don't remember my code. Let me open here this one. Let's copy this one. Issue. Yeah, we can also do it this way. Send the task only those tasks which are needed to work on. Yeah, that's also a way. List of task. So in this way, we can do the trigger for the task, and it will send the notification to a user using the value, or we can change the subject to, means instead of writing subject, task status. Yeah, it shows that what is the status of the task. Okay, so it's calling, and let me call it into a trigger. So here dot handle after update. Method does not exist or correct signature, private, public, static, void. Okay, sorry, it should pass trigger dot new comma trigger dot old. Okay, if I change the status, uh, let me first choose a contact which has a proper name, or sorry, proper email, so that it does not have any task. Sorry, I'm in lead. In this one. Okay, this is a task created. Let's change the status to in progress and save it. It's created. Let's check the logs. Always do a habit of checking logs. No, we haven't. Let's check the logs. And the task is in progress. It sends the, let's check that it's received or no. Yeah, you can see that we can got a task with the status. What will be the task status? It's showing that, and it received by me. So in this way, we can write a trigger to send a notification, to a user or anyone else. Means, and this is I know that this is possible with some other tool, but we can also use this in this way. We can send a notification to a user. Okay, so that's any questions?
So in the same trigger, we can use different trigger handlers, right?
Yeah, we can use the different trigger handlers.
And is it meaningful to use more than one handler for the same object?
It is not meaningful to use more than one handler for the same object, but you suppose we have a certain situation that suppose you are working with a team and you are working with you just join in a company and they are already working on some trigger. So usually usually your focus is that to not change the last modified date of any class. So at that time, what you have to do, you have to create a separate handler and use that handler in a trigger. So a trigger can have multiple handlers. That's okay. A trigger can have multiple handlers. That's not an issue. Means that's okay. Means if you have a multiple handlers, no issue in that, because it's a kind of situation based. Means whenever we have a situation based, because we are usually working with different peoples are working on the same logic, means same object. So might be that handler is taken care by some other of developer in the same company. So at that moment you don't have to make any changes in that handler. So at that time you have to create a new handler and work on that. So it's based on a situation. If you don't have a such kind of situation, then you can work with the handler, same handler. But if you have such kind of situation that you have to need to create a new handler, there is no issue in that if you are creating a new handler. Okay, so that's the thing. Means if you are creating a different handler for different methods, that also not be an issue. No one going to complain you. But the thing is that there should be only one trigger per object.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
And Suraj, also for like different triggers, is there any common handlers used by different triggers?
Yeah, correct. They create a utility class, utility handlers. They create a they are using there are some at some places they are using trigger framework, so that since suppose in all the trigger means any of the trigger, we are passing trigger.new. Yeah, we are passing a trigger.new.
Yeah.
And this trigger.new, if we think about that, this trigger.new, what is that? It's a list of s object. That as object can be anything. That as object can be contact, lead, or any object, anything. So they in some of the cases I seen that they have a single handler. In that they are passing, instead of passing list of, just like I passing the list of tasks, it means that this trigger.new is typecasted into that list of tasks. And if I
So
write here
instead of
list of s objects, then it will work for any of the object. And then here I need to write a logic that if it is a task, then I have to do this. If it is a contact, then I need to do this. So I have seen that at some place that they are using a single same handler for each and every trigger, but still they are using sub handler for handling that object.
okay.
So it's a kind of that means you
And
can, you
Suraj,
can use. Hmm?
like instead of creating instance of like class, not class, like contact. In utilities, they are using S object, so any object using will be able to reach it, I guess.
Yeah, reach it. Yeah, they can reach it, but still in that, when the handler creates something like that, in that handler you have to handle the on the basis of object which method which we need to call, because
Mhm.
all the objects will not be a same task that need to do. That we have to define a methods for which method, this object for these methods, something like that. Means you have to, then you have to write some if condition. If that a subject type is contact, then we have to do this. If a subject type is task, then we have to do this, something like that. Then you have to put conditions over there. But yeah, it's possible to use a single handler for each trigger.
Suraj, can you change the password by yourself so you have the password with you for this Zoom account? And you can share with Priya if she needs. You can both use this account, so nobody else has the password.
Okay, I will try to change it. Okay, I will change it.
You have the password, right? You just log into
Yeah.
the Zoom website. You can change. It's just quick.
Okay, I will change it. I
Okay.
will change it and share it. Any other question? Okay, then we're good to now. Talk to you on Monday.
I'm here.
Yeah, you are here.
Mehmet, Mehmet can go. Yeah, it's okay. Mine takes a little private, so kind of.
No, I'm just gonna say Ata's message in the Slack.
Yeah, yes.
Tomorrow's class is gonna be at 10 a.m. time, if not everyone sees.
Eastern time, yes.
10 a.m. Yeah. 1 hour earlier than before. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
So I think I have to go. Okay, bye.
Bye, Priya.
Bye.